I finished the school and I said to my parents that I was about to take 1 year only to focus on the bike. If it worked, I will just stick to my dream, and if it not, like I will just ride for hobby and just keep studying. And then that was the year. That was the year. I just focused on. I did like a list of tricks that I wanted to do, and I was every day doing something. Even like it was all. If I was alone, I will send a trick. Like I put die in my imagine. I put die as a thing that could happen. Like I accept that. I say, like, dude, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die doing what I really want.
And we're recording. All right, Kenneth Tencio, welcome to the Gray Matters podcast. It's truly, one, an honor to have you on, and two, it's just really exciting to catch up because, like we were just discussing before you started recording, you're doing so many amazing things, and I've been able to have the pleasure to see you progress on your bike, off your bike, and so with that all being said, welcome to the podcast.
No, thanks to you, Josh. Seriously, like a big opportunity for me just to talk with you. I used to look up to you, and still I do. Like, seriously, thank you for the opportunity to be here talking with you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for taking the time. And let's just get right into it. 2020 was a wild year, but I know you have an interesting mindset. One, just who you are, and two, because you're a BMX athlete, you see the world differently. So I'm curious, how did you look at 2020, and what did it do for you?
Well, at the beginning, I just try to keep on my on my plan. I stick to my plan. It doesn't matter if I had contest or no. Like I just wanted to ride my bike, and I actually find it that if I don't have events, that is like external motivation. I still have my internal feelings that make me ride every day as hard as I can. Like so, yeah. 2020 was like a really weird year, but at the same time, uh, let me see more inside myself, and let me see that I really love riding bikes.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely resonate with that. And, on that note, something that stands out to me that you just said, there's this idea of vision. And you said, there was these events, they were external, but you have the power within you. And I'm curious, have you ever thought about this concept, or has this been a big fuel or motivating factor for you of this vision that you're working towards in terms of a goal, in terms of what you want to do with your life on and off the bike? Like, does that resonate with you in terms of keeping you moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. Like I feel like since I started riding bikes, actually before I always wanted to do my best on whatever I was doing. So even if it's riding bikes or just doing like the garden or something, I would just try to do my best. Like it doesn't matter uh if it's for to get something or just to do it for myself to just relax or something. I will do my best on everything I'm doing. It's just like I remember like a long time ago, like 10, 12 years ago, I read this book, The Secret. You probably hear about it. And I took that book as like as my, I took really serious the book. I really put it as like a line to follow. And since that, I seriously it changed my mind. So everything I'm doing, I know I'm doing it for something, even if it's just for relax is necessary, or just writing, just like trying to do my best every day, making every day count, not just living.
Yeah, no doubt. I definitely heard of the book, and there's a documentary on Netflix that's a smaller version of what the book contains. And what an amazing find to, have that opportunity to read that book and that to kick off essentially your dream career that you dreamt, you made up in your mind, and now you're living it. And I want to touch upon something, I was saying before, I saw the Vital interview you did with Kyle and talking about your first fees experience and what that did to drive you to where you are now, making finals, winning events, like being at the top. And I'm curious as to how, that book, The Secret, and what stood out to you about that book that led you to this mindset of wanting to push forward, wanting to better yourself on and off the bike.
Actually, both things comes around the same time. I will say I read the book like a year before that. So once I know it that I can achieve what I wanted, if I really focus on it and if I visualize and if I really think I can get it. Like I went to this event and I see these guys, everyone just riding like amazing. I wasn't ready to be there. I say like, whoa, if they can, I can. I definitely can. So that was the only thing on my mind. Like just thinking like, well, I just need to train as hard as I can, and then as the book say, like when you want something and you just work on it every day and you just think about it every day, like you start to like the 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 universe will help you. You know, like it's crazy because as I was thinking like the universe will help me too. You know, I was just focused on writing. Like people, like random people, we will just come by myself and tell me like something about it. Like, hey, you can come to my house, or maybe I wanted to go to somewhere and then I didn't have the money or something, and someone will come like help me without no reason. Like just like I feel like when you want something, you can see it on on your eyes. If when someone wants something, you can see on the eyes of that person. Like it happened to me actually. Like there is a writer who is writing with me every day, like since 2 years ago, and since I met him, I know it that he really wanted to write to be professional. So I invite him to my house and to live with me, and he really take it seriously. But I couldn't see that since the beginning. You can see when someone is really on the mission, you know.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And that just reminds me of a concept that I've adopted over the years, and it goes, what we focus on expands. So you've
Yeah,
had this
exactly.
vision in your mind, you're putting all of your energy into it, and you're focused on it rather than what if it doesn't work out or all the fears. And by doing so, you allow your reality, the universe, to provide for you, whether it's a person, it's an opportunity, it's a resource. Like it all kind of makes sense. And people will say it's luck or it's coincidence. But really, the secret highlights the law of attraction. What that means is what we focus on just expands. When we're focused on something, we're going to see that. But when we're focused on, maybe what we want, we're going to see more opportunity to have those things come in our life. And it makes sense, just like you said, like that book just put you on this path of, knowing if I can see it in my mind, I can create it in my reality externally. But you have the
Exactly.
focus inward because that's where the power comes from. It's inside. Everything else outside of us is just bonus. And then that
Yeah.
proves with your story with fees, going to an event that you wanted to do, like you had to go there to have that experience, but it also opened your mind to show you, I'm not where I need to be, I can be. Let's take this information, let's go home, let's go back to the drawing board, let's work on our training, let's work on a mindset. And with that being said, I know because I've been in that position, there's a lot of fear that can come into the picture. And so my
Yeah.
question to you is, what's your relationship with fear, and how do you assess what fear is going to do for you or prevent you from doing? Like, what is your relationship with fear, and how do you go about moving forward with fear?
It's crazy because fear, as you know, is only a thought. Fear is something that will show you that is a risk there. So you have to be more focused on what you're doing. It's not like something that will stop you. It's something that is there and it will be there always, because it's not like you don't you don't have fear anymore. Because I always have fear. Even if it's a trick that I do every day, there will be days where I feel a lot of fear more than other. But I will know that it's also like it's the way that my body show me that I have to be careful on what I'm doing. But it's just that, just be careful. You know, you know your limits. So I stick to that. Like if I know I can do it, I would just focus on what I can do. Because as soon as I feel I cannot do it, if I doubt about it, I will not do it. It happened to me a lot on contests. I come, I have my line, and maybe a couple minutes before my run, I think on a trick and I kind of cannot do it on my mind, I will just change it because I know if I do the trick, I will fall. And so yeah, I just try to think the fear is just like something that will say me like which way I have to take. Like if I have fear, but I feel I can do it, I will just do it. But if I doubt about it, I will change it.
Yeah, I definitely, like I said, I definitely relate because I've been in that competition mode or even training a new trick, maybe a trick on a different transition or a different setup, and the fear comes in. But a couple of things that you said I want to highlight. Fear is just a thought, and I mean, you know me with my, my saying about that. I have it tattooed across
Yeah,
my arm, and then thoughts can be changed. To me, fear is just something we feel. It's an emotion. Emotions are the
exactly.
language of the body. So much so that what we feel will actually trigger our brain to think how we feel. So if we're thinking of a new trick, we're in a contest setting, it's a lot of pressure, all of a sudden we're feeling anxious or feeling fear, then that's going to trigger our brain to think, what if I fall? What if I don't do it? Can I do it? And what you highlighted is coming back to focus. Fear is going to be a play in our lives. And that Jim Carrey, if you haven't heard his speech he gave a couple years ago, it's a very well known video on YouTube now. I can share it with you. But he made a interesting comment. He said, fear is going to be a play in your life, no doubt. But you choose how much time that player gets in your life. And what you said is so crucial. Fear is a tool. It signals us on what we should
Yeah.
focus on and how we
Hmm.
want to move forward. And so I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that because that's the difference of fear paralyzing us or pushing us to the next level.
Yeah, it also like as you say is a tool because sometimes when I have so much like a lot of fear about something or about writing, I know my body can be tired that day. So I know sometimes it's just because I'm scared of doing a trick, but sometimes it's just like a tool for me to know that my body is not ready. Because when I go to the gym, like I feel like good, like I feel like strong, and I get to the park and I want to ride, like I feel strong. I don't have that much fear. But when I have like too many contests, like I'm tired. Like I get to the park and I start to feel like fear about all the tricks. Like the most simple trick can be something really hard that day. That is just showing me that my body is tired. So I have to just like learn what the fear can show me.
Exactly. It's a tool, it's information. And if we approach it that way rather than, giving into the fear, we just, okay, what am I to learn from this? Like you said, it could be something as simple as maybe you're just tired. Maybe you just need to take
Yeah,
the day just to
exactly.
cruise or just take a full day off and just rest. And that's something
Hmm.
I learned the hard way and throughout my career is rest is so important. Your
Oh,
sleep is so important.
we all do definitely. Like sometimes I'm like, dude, I have to write every day, every single day, and then I get in a point that I did not want to stop, but the bike made me stop falling. So yeah,
You
it's
know,
something that I seriously learned on the hard way. But it's so hard to understand until you fall.
yeah, until it's time where you can't
Yeah.
not take a break. You have to take a break, and that's what injuries have done for me. It's just taught me, all right,
Hmm.
maybe I should take a step
Hmm.
back. Maybe I got to rest a little bit. Maybe I need to get stronger. Maybe I need to just clear my mind. But as BMX athletes, we're I feel like trained and conditioned to push through pain. Like I haven't ridden my bike in a year now, and my body hasn't felt as good as since I was like 16 years old because there's
Wow.
always something lingering. There's always some kind of pain or soreness or bruise or rolled ankle. There's always something, but we're just in our mind, we're so focused on the vision that we're not going to let that stop us. But there's times where it's like, all right, let's rest, let's recover, which is crucial.
Hmm.
What I'm curious of now, like, I want to get into the origins of your career. You're from Costa Rica. BMX in general is not a well accepted or a common sport, let alone something you can make a living from and support yourself and support your family. I'm curious, how did you first get involved with the sport of BMX?
Well, I remember I used to play soccer. It's the first thing that your parents give to you, like a ball, a football. So I remember I used to play because all my friends used to do it. but I wasn't really enjoying my time doing that. Like I just do it because everyone was doing it. And then one time, a real good friend of mine now, he was doing events like back in 2006, and someone invited me to that event. And it's crazy because as soon as I got there, I still have like the picture on my head. I had still like it's like I'm watching that thing right now. And I remember I got caught on the moment, like, dude, this is what I really want to do. And then the only thing on my mind since I see these guys riding was like, dude, I want a bike. And actually it took me like 6 months to buy my bike. I was going to the school. My parents give me like $1 per day. So to that was to take the bus and also like to eat. But I saved this money. I saved this money for like 6 months. I walked to the school. It's like around like 5 miles from my house, like every
Wow.
day, 5 miles on the way and then 5 miles on the way back. I actually, yeah, I did that for like 6 months until I got the money, buy my first frame and my first fork and stem. I had like another bike and I did like in between I did like a BMX bike, and then I started riding. And since that day, everything changed. Like my all my everything on my mind was like just riding bikes. I was going to the school and everything, and every day I was just drawing on the back of my on the back, like just doing like things. Everything was about BMX. Even if I was going to the school, I was thinking like, dude, I'm going because I know I have to do it. But everything, what I want is just to get over to go ride.
Yeah, I had a similar experience in terms of just trying to figure out things I could, do to earn money, sell things to make money. In school, my mind was just in be. I had magazines and the books. I'm drawing ramps and just writing out
Yeah,
tricks I want to learn. And any paper that I had to write in school was about BMX, and the obsession was there. And I
yeah,
honestly believe that one, that obsession is what has got you to the level you're at today, and it has allowed you to experience the life that you're living today. But I also believe that that's not a common trait. And I think so many people would benefit from having something, even if it's a hobby. It doesn't need to be a focus to be a career, but just something they're that passionate about, that they can put their energy into, that they can progress. Because that journey of progression, especially with something that you fall, it hurts, you learn really quick what worked and what didn't. And then you make a choice. Do I want to learn and move forward and accomplish my goals? Or do I want to run from this fear? And that right there has taught me so many things. I would imagine it's taught you so many things off the bike. I mean, you have a business now. You're running a park for your community. Like, you're treating your body and your mind in such a different manner had it not been for BMX and the work ethic you had to put into it. And that's just some of my favorite things to look at BMX from, besides the fun, the travel, the friends, the experience, is just what are we learning? Because these learnings are going to last a lifetime.
yeah. It's crazy because every time someone asks me about BMX and about like to be an individual sport, it's crazy how much you can grow in your life doing like an individual sport. Because as other sports, like in a football soccer team, like the whole team wins. But even if you wasn't feeling good that day, if the other people do good, you will do good. So sometimes people uh, just get at the comfort zone that if everyone is doing like their job, like you will not have to push that much. In BMX, you have to, or any other individual sport, you have to work every day. Every day, if you don't do your things one day, or if you don't push yourself, or is no one is gonna do it for you. Like to learn a trick is just like it's a whole process. Imagine it took me like 4 years to do like 5 flares, like to get 5 flares ready to a contest. And I can say like this is kind of like the same in my life. If I want something, I have to wake up early every day, go see people, like talk with people. Like I can't invest my money on something, I can lost it, and well, we have to do things every day, and so it really helped me to grow a lot as a person, because it's like a trick. You have to put your effort every day. It doesn't come easy, and no one will help you. You have to do your things.
100%. Do you think that that laid the foundation for you now, experimenting with an entrepreneurial journey? You have your sock company, right?
Hmm.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, I still do that.
Do you think that that learning from BMX has allowed you to one pursue that, but then maintain that effort?
Oh yeah, of course, definitely. BMX is has helped me a lot on everything. Like actually, like on the part that sometimes it doesn't get like the enough money to pay everyone. Like and somehow I will look the way to get it. Same thing with a trick. You are trying to spin one way and you can't do it, and you will just find a way on some time.
Yeah, it's almost like, especially how you just worded that. It's like BMX teaches you to find a way. It doesn't it
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
it doesn't allow the words "I can't," because then you're not going to
Hmm.
get what you want, and that transcends to any aspect of our lives, like you're experiencing with the park, with your business, and just any aspect of your life. The concept of thinking, "How can I?" rather than, "Oh, I messed up. I must not be able to do this." It's a different thought
Imagine,
process.
yeah, imagine. I remember one time, like maybe like 12 years ago, I was trying to do flips, and I remember one guy came to me and saying like, "Dude, like not everyone can do flips. You know, you can see this professional rider and he doesn't do flips." I'm like, I wasn't I wasn't able to get like that in my mind. I was like, dude, I may take a long time to learn it, but I will do it. And now I'm flipping from flat.
Yeah.
So it's,
And off trees
it's yeah,
and off
it's
buildings.
crazy, but it takes time. It will take me more time than other people, but I will find a way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the most profound learning lesson from BMX is delaying gratification. We live in a society now where everyone wants everything right away. And there's something
Yeah.
to be said about working towards something that doesn't happen overnight. Like you said, it took you 4 years to learn 540 flares. It took you some time to learn backflips, and then now you're doing bunny hop backflips in to start your run at a contest. That's not very common. Like not even half the riders are doing that today, especially off 8 foot wall rides and off trees and off buildings. But there's something to be said about that mindset. It's working towards the vision we hold in our mind. And I see this theme coming up with people that have either mastered a skill, have become a professional athlete, have overcome tragedy in their life of any kind. They either had this mindset instilled from someone or something in their life, or that event taught them to think that way of what can I do to accomplish this? And delaying gratification because the vision. It always comes back to something internal, which is the vision that we're dreaming, that we're creating in our mind,
Mhm.
because then that fuels us. And the term motivation, I don't believe in that. I believe that's elevated energy. And I think that that fuel, if you want to look at it like that, comes from inspiration. Inspiration comes from within, it comes from what we see in our mind. And if we can see
Mhm.
it in our mind, we can make it happen in our lives.
Exactly. That's what I think. Like actually, every time that I think on, well, I'm doing BMX now, but every time I think like if I wanted to be like a professional, I don't know, surfer or anything, I feel I can do everything that I really want. You know, like if I really want something, I will look the way to do it. Some people just think like actually like, you know, like, oh, it's expensive, so I'm not gonna think about it because it's too expensive for me, or oh, it's too far from here. You always have the way to do it. Like it may be not sure, like not quick. It will take time, but you will find a way. If you have like a really good idea, or if you have if you want to do something, like if you really really want to do it, you will find a way. It's always a way to do it.
Yeah, and I know the book Think and Grow Rich, they highlight that concept as well. And I know you talked about the secret. And what I've come to learn is there's only two things preventing us from being where we are and getting to where we want to go: beliefs and the skills. the number one reason why people don't even try to do what they want is a belief telling them that they can't. The thing about beliefs is they're bullshit. They're made up because we know that two people can believe they can do a backflip. One person can believe they can do a backflip. The other person could say, I don't think it's possible, but they've never tried. The person that
Yeah,
believes will go and try, will learn from their mistakes. It's not failure, it's learning. You either win or you learn,
yeah.
and then they will be able to accomplish it. And for you, you've taken that to the next level, which is fantastic. And I'm curious, with this vision you created as a young boy, doing what you had to do to make the dream possible, to have that bike to start. And then you decided, oh, I can make a living out of this. I can travel the world. I can make this into a career. How was that? I'd say, how was that received from your family, your friends, your community? Because coming from Costa Rica, if correct me if I'm wrong, you're the first professional BMX athlete to make a living from riding his bike, right?
Yeah, actually, like there is another friend, the one that used to do events. Like he wasn't like really living from BMX, but he was doing a lot of things.
Okay.
But he was kind of like one of the person that I was at the beginning. I know that if he was doing that, I was able to do even more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I start, I remember I used to tell to my mom like, hey, "Whoa, I want to do this," and the good thing like she never said me no. She like know that I was a kid. I may was dreaming too much, but I actually was also like working on it because I was 13 years old when I started working. I was working on a place that they sell cheese. I worked since like 13 to like 16 because I was going to school also and writing. So it was too much for me. I was just a kid. But that was the way that I got money to like keep my bike good and everything. So she saw like I was really focused on get the way to do this dream happen. I also want to tell you that I still have a box like a it's like a little box of shoes where I used to create things. I put it there, and then I also have like a little Rams. This was like 10 years ago when I built this box. I just put like Rams there and say like, "Whoa, I'm gonna have a part one day." I just to put like, "I will have this car one day." It's crazy because I put everything what I have there is something that I have right now. It's
Hmm.
crazy the power that you have when you visualize something and when you growed about it. I grow everything that I grow in that moment was like thinking on present. Like if I have it in the moment, like really feeling that gratitude of dude, I have it. And then that build the rest of my career.
That's amazing. I mean, two things that stand out. One, the support of your mother. It was similar for me. Had it not been for that support, I don't know if the belief in me would have been built because I would have been fighting, the fear of letting other people down. But to have that support is very crucial, especially when you're developing a vision. But then to take that vision, to speak it into existence by writing it out and to be working on it, that's such a powerful thing that I think not enough people believe that because we're in society, we're told we can't make our dreams become true. Like it's not like not everyone can do it. It's only special people. But we're all special. It depends on the belief we
Yeah.
have. And you sharing that is so phenomenal. And I had a similar experience with that, making my BMX dream become a reality. And it's so powerful because when you can come up with a vision and you can think about how you can make that happen rather than focusing on how or what or why not, when you're like how can I rather than well I'm not good enough yet or I'm from this location of the world or no one else has done it. That's all irrelevant because it matters what you said, what you create the vision, what you believe of that vision, and then what are you going to do to make that happen. And so I love that. And I'm curious, at what point did you change this vision into a firm belief that like this is going to happen and I'm going to do everything I can? Was there a specific moment that came over in your life that was just like, I think I can, I'm going to try to like, this is going to happen?
I will say it wasn't like just one break point. It was a couple break points. Like fees was a moment. Then the time that Daniel invited me to his house showed me a lot about life, about BMX and what he has, and just coming all from BMX. And then also one time that couple BMX riders came here, and then they give me a couple of his parts because I have like a really shitty bike. And I remember that day they say me like, if you send it on a bar spin on these stairs, we will give you these parts. I sent the gap like a couple times and I couldn't throw the bar. And I think in that moment I was actually reading the book, and then I couldn't throw the bar, but that is sticking on my mind like every day for like the next week. Like, dude, why you didn't throw the bar? So they leave, they still give me the parts. I filled the bike. I went back to the stairs and I sent it, and I did it first try. Like there was like a lot of break points that give me that push to do and believe that I was able to do it. Also, like on 2012 was the year that I finished the school and I said like, dude, I'm able to do this. Like I finished the school and I said to my parents that I was about to take 1 year only to focus on the bike. If it worked, I will just stick to my dream, and if it not, like I will just ride for hobby and just keep studying. And then that was the year. That was the year. I just focused on. I did like a list of tricks that I wanted to do, and I was every day doing something. Even like it was all. If I was alone, I will send the trick. Like I put die in my imagine. I put die as a thing that could happen. Like I accept that. I say, like, dude, if I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die doing what I really want. And it's hard. Like a lot of people say that, but I seriously took that as my mindset. Like, and I actually went to like a coaching, and I told her like, dude, it's crazy to think that I can die doing this and I don't care about it. And she was like, no, like it's just the mindset that you have to do it. So that gave me like that opened my mind more. So I accept that I couldn't get hurt every day. So I took the risk and I started riding like never before. I can say like in 1 year, I learned more than 50% of the tricks I have right now. Like I learned everything in like 3 months, like being on woodwork. And then after that, like everything just start to like grow and grow. Like it's so crazy. Like I think accepting that give me the wins.
Of course. I mean, if anyone has ever seen you ride, you can see that clearly. You can see that that acceptance of the most extreme injury of death can occur. You accepted that, and I would imagine that that kind of just let fear fizzle away. It just became irrelevant. And then that's something that you and I share, and I would argue most BMX riders share. Most extreme athletes or extreme sports athletes would share is like the reality that you could die. You know, we've seen what happened to Stephen Murray. You know, like that's a reality. And when you can accept that, there's no place for fear because the vision is there. You've accepted the risk, but the vision is more compelling than the risk and whatever you're experiencing. And anyone that has seen you ride or will see you ride will see that. And I've been able to have the pleasure of seeing you progress from the first day I met you in Greenville when you were coming out, you know? And what year was that when you first came out to Greenville? Was it like
uh two,
2012 as well?
yeah, 2012. It's
So that
crazy
was
because
9 years ago.
yeah, yeah, no, years ago.
And what were you saying?
um that people will say like, oh, this man, this guy is crazy. But I want to say something like it's like a really like how to say, like a skinny thing in between crazy and have the courage to do it, because I have the courage because I believe that I can do it. It will be crazy if I think I cannot do it and I try it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I
It's a
will say
belief.
that yeah, it's a belief.
People that say
Not
we're
that I'm
crazy,
crazy.
it's their belief. And I'd argue that's
Yeah,
what's keeping them
exactly.
from doing the things they want.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I want to be respectful of your time. So I have so many more things I want to talk to you about. Maybe one day we'll do a follow up episode. We'll talk about them. But I have two questions that I want to wrap this up with. And the first one is, what is one like super important, super profound learning from BMX that you would say applies to any aspect of your life and could apply to anyone else that you've learned from BMX?
Uh, I will say if you do what you love, there is no pain.
I love that. I love that. So, my follow up question to that is, what piece of advice would you give your younger self or anyone that's starting any kind of journey, whether it's BMX or it's some kind of education route to have their dream job, it's art, it's whatever. What piece of advice would you give your younger self or anyone that's starting out, whether they're young or old, just starting on a new path that they envision in their mind?
I will say enjoy the process. Definitely, the process is a winning time. Is when you are learning. It's not the end of the thing. Definitely, is the process.
It's amazing. I love that, and I firmly agree. And that's what my even the last 10 years of my life has shown me. It's about the process. The process
Yeah.
is where all the magic happens and the experiences
Mhm.
happen. And part of your process, we were able to meet. You were able to see the world. You're able to make friends around the world, and you were able to live your dream because you took action. You believed in yourself. You accepted that even that the most severe risk was possible, and you were able to move forward. And so one, I appreciate you coming on. Two, I'm curious, what's next? Because I know last year was supposed to be the first year for BMX freestyle in the Olympics. So what's next? Is there any information going on as far as this year, or maybe in the near future about the Olympics, happening for BMX freestyle?
Yeah, as I heard, like the Olympics will happen. Like no matter what, like they already have like everything setting up to do it. So it's gonna happen. Even if it's happening or not, I'm training. I'm doing my best. Like just as I told you, like I enjoy to progress and I feel good. So yeah, I will just focus on write as much as I can and progress like these days. It actually opened me to try new tricks because I don't have like anything coming up that quick. So yeah, I'm just focused on writing, create new things. Like we have a school now of VMX. Like we are creating a lot of things, not just for me, if not like for the people who is coming and growing on the sport. So yeah, just trying to get involved with as much as I can on the BMX scene in Costa Rica.
I love that. So obsessed, prepared, contributing to society and the younger generation, giving back. That's to me a true sign of success is when you can achieve what you want and then you can help other people achieve what they want along the way. And I really appreciate that about you. And like I said, I appreciate your time. I've appreciated getting to see you progress into the amazing human being you are on and off your bike, and to have shared some times together to be friends, and for you to come and share your journey with me and whoever's listening, whoever's watching. And I lied about just having two questions. I came up with the third one about the Olympics. And I just, again, I want to thank you for your time. It means a lot to me to have you, doing what you do, representing that belief in other people, because it's inspiring to me. It's inspiring to anyone watching. And I'm so excited to see you compete in the Olympics. And that was going to be my fourth question. I lied. I had two, and I came up with the third one. The last one is, I'm just really fascinated with this idea of, what you're experiencing in terms of how you feel, going to the Olympics, representing your country, being one of few, if not the only one, to travel the world, living your dream in BMX, providing for yourself, contributing to your community. What does that feel like to you to be in that position, representing your country?
It's crazy because it has like two parts. One is the big motivation. I have the whole country like waiting for what you're gonna do, but at the same time, it's the pressure of everyone like telling like, dude, you have to train. You have to do your best. Like, so it motivates me, but at the same time, it's a lot of pressure. So I'm just trying, as I tell you, like to focus on enjoy the process and do everything that I can and just try to motivate more people that if they dream like you can do whatever you want. You know, like I come from a really small country, and we fight with a lot of riders from all these big countries to get there. So anything that you want, if you want it, like you can get it. Actually, what I tell to my country every day, if I don't get any medal on this, is because I didn't really want it. If I didn't really work as hard as I know I have to do it. So yeah, just focus on doing my best.
I love it, man. It's not about the pressure. It's not about the fear. We've
Yeah,
already talked about that. It's about the vision in your mind of what you want to be true and asking yourself what you can do to make that happen. And I see you out there doing it. I see you out there working. I see you working on your body, on your mind, on the bike. And it's a, again, it's a pleasure to watch. It's a pleasure to see you grow and to see what's coming up next for you. And even though I'm not out there competing with you guys anymore, I'm not, I'm not out there. I'm watching, and it's exciting, and I'm excited to see what comes next. And when the Olympics happens, I'll be watching and I'll be rooting for you. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing on the Great Matters podcast, and I appreciate you, man.
thanks to you. It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Josh. See you around, man.